In my hood, you hear sirens and semis pop. Judah keep vexing Ephraim. When will the envy stop? No love for any cops. That's what got Kenny shot. Y'all drinking Henny shots. I'm investing in penny stocks. They give me props. Rapping, teaching, debating, unity. While Satan trying to weaken the nation. Cops in my community kill us with every opportunity. No justice or peace. The police get immunity. Look, rubber bullets and riot tools when they gear up. Asking where the love went, cause judgment is near us. And kids rather pour up a foe and sip the syrup than learn about how the black Moors ruled in Europe. We divided by economic material schisms. My people are serial victims of imperialism. I tell the truth in the booth, boy, my pen no lie. They love the Hebrew Israelites. Ask the NOI. Let's pray. I pray. Abba, yeah, how will rise. I pray for your grace and everything that you shall provide. I pray every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and pumped will come out of hide. I pray every day, no excuses or alibis. I pray that every last one of these cowards die. I pray all of this in the name of Yahweh Shai. Can't feed the flesh, don't need the stress, so I fast and I rest instead. Cold sweats in the bath, trying to grasp. I sat in bed. In my dream, I had a twin. He stabbed me to death and fled. Visions of a pale horse and a dragon with 7 heads. Vagabond Babylon being watched by the Lord. Can't even stop by the store, cause on my block it's a war. Jehovah Witnesses don't even knock at my door, cause they know they false doctrine will get chopped by my sword. Yeah, I'm with the lyrical or the spiritual murder play. I see some ravenous wolves leading the herd astray. My homie's mom's a tweaker, I watch him serve a yay. I'm numb to this game and the pain. I'm an inverted. When the Messiah comes serve, we gon' witness the sun purge. He coming back to judge every idle and dumb word. My team always moving in silence, we unheard. The elite wanna converge on the elect and the 1/3. I pray, Abba, yeah, how will rise. I pray for your grace.
All right, brothers, let's have fun with it.
Step up on the scene, casting at them doctrines and them idols you esteem. Yeah, you might think it's a little extreme, but I'm all about my people, yeah, they need that vaccine. Oh, no actors, but we got that action. See them purple garments on with that gold accent. Yeah, you say you got the name, but your fringe is absent. Y'all going backwards like subtraction. So keep it in step. Sabbath day approaching, so you know it's time to prep. Sound the alarm, cause my people overslept. Yeah, you hear them trumpets blowing, sounding like a quartet. Oh. Yeah, this that purple rain. So the Bible you can't sleep on. When Christ return, yeah, the Lord gonna turn that heat on, and all that nonsense gonna be gone. Oh.
Let's go. Let me show you where I got the inspiration from. Give me the text, please.
You gonna go into the Bible?
I'm gonna go into the Bible.
You mean these niggas ain't read the Bible?
I've never read the Bible. Damn.
They watch Prince videos, but they ain't read the Bible.
There you go.
That's me finished.
Okay, my turn. Purple rain on me. Exponential growth, that's why you hating on me. This is IUIC, acting like you don't see. Boy, we know you frontin'. Please, see us on the corners, unlike you, we be like, read. Coming out the scriptures, yeah, you know just how we teach. Teach class online 7 days of the week. Being earned everything that you wish you could be. You see it? Shabbat, whole campus serpent. Y'all ain't the original school, you just refurbished version. Ursum, open your mouth, but won't speak with no verses. We got Bibles while y'all yapping, man. Y'all captain is worthless. Ursum, I know, but the truth is the truth. Run your damn mouth and got Deke in the booth. Having fun with your slander, cause our fruit is our proof. Yeah, we worldwide with it, never mention you fools. Move. That's right, working man coming through. We got jobs, we ain't living off our women Hebrew. That's a nigga, my dude. But you say you a Jew? Come out of here with that debate and you negating the truth now. Ain't nobody playing leather headband, man. Yeah, we heard what you said, but it came back, man. We the prophets of the Lord. Better understand, put that foolishness aside and humble down, clown.
Simon is so great. Nobody else is allowed to wear that color. It would only him, so it was always a dignified royal pride. So they were mocking Christ in a garment. Purple garment on it and mocked him.
We the rulers, purple rain, excuse me, don't mean to boast. Who the Israelites and all you gonna see is purple and go from coast to coast. We in the street, filled with the Holy Ghost. All this purple up in this jar gon' make you have an overdose. We the leaders of the people, so rock 44 and 4. Don't know no other Israelites that go harder than we go. Just left a quest for 12. Try to prophesy to Island folk. Next trip West Africa, we waking up the Ivory Coast, repent and die. If you don't, it's suicide. Coco Bang, purple raining in your hood like them hustler working thing. We Israel united twice. Dance right, don't curse tonight. We gon' gather 1/3 and watch the world birth and fly. I can change this we can with the true word of y'all. Now you heard your church of fire. Yeah, it's true, you want some style. Why they hating on us? The prophets said it ain't a thing. Double honor to our bishop B. Hate can't stand the rain.
So when I read these scriptures, brothers and sisters, I saw meaning in purple. I saw meaning in that color. So as a people, we've been stripped of our royal heritage. The wicked mocked our king, our leader, our commander with purple. Well, as servants, we gonna mock this kingdom and raise up the 12 tribes of Israel.
Can you stand up? Like what the tribes. This is not just made up. All this stuff comes out of the scriptures. And when you got a leader that cannot explain his doctrine, that's a fool. Exactly. Everything that we are about, we can explain.
Yep.
Out of the scriptures.
Purple rain, fly in the plane. Purple garment so clean, you don't see a stain. All that hate and bring us fame, so we do our thing. Purple rain, we giving you haters chest pain. It's a shame how these brothers got hate in the brain. They got the spirit of Cain, so we in our own lane. Nobody saying we'll jump in front of a freight train, but they killed the prophets and these brothers will do the same thing. Dang, I ain't about to play with kids all up in our Kool-Aid, but they don't know what the flavor is. Tell them what the flavor is, great. That they hating this, I wish I could see their faces when they looking mad playing this, man. Hard in the paint, I might slam. We supposed to be bros, we supposed to be fam, but you on the internet talking greasy like spam. Keep talking smart and we gon' clown you like Pam. Man, don't mess with the prophets that's out here wearing purple. We in the same mind, you ain't messing with my circle. A bunch of lions with Bibles, we'll let these scriptures hurt you. We jumping hurdles, we got the whole world on our shoulders. Sit back and let that purple rain. Don't kick against the bricks, don't try to come against the grain. Ain't nothing I can say to them. I'm about to go and pray for him. God.
We them dudes all purple, all gold. Unbelievers complain, y'all hurtful, y'all cold. I'm looking at your journal, then I'm looking at your members every year. Same people, y'all circle look old. Y'all turtles move slow. Being with the feelings, yeah, you ain't growing. You hit your spiritual ceiling. Y'all be hiding sins, not us, we revealing. Yeah, our nation's sick, and our people need a healing. But y'all ain't got the medicine. Actions don't show, y'all late, call them Letterman. Get it? Late show, David Letterman. Yeah, I'm at the gates, I see David, they like Letterman. All this purple everywhere, yeah, we stay ahead of him. Hating on the bishops, man, you fools stay sweating him. Why y'all steady hating? You supposed to be our brethren. Galatians 5:9, get rid of all that leavening. I bet you like it here, you look comfortable. When them chariots come, I'm trying to be punctual. Yeah, you lacking wisdom, so your breakdown dysfunctional. Y'all be playing kid games, go and grab a Lunchable. Haha, shame on you. We can't grow, so I'ma put the blame on you. You sound stupid, so now this purple rain's on you. Better repent, or he gon' put them flames on you. Burn up.
Because we what? Because we love and that's what these brothers don't have. They don't have the love for the brethren. For you to go on YouTube and speak evil of any man, you understand? That's hatred. And without proof, without talking to that man without proof, that's hatred.
We them Bible-beating prophets in their purple and gold. In them scriptures we on fire, y'all just mad cause y'all cold. Shut up
Every time we make a move, y'all complaining. Y'all shooting shots about the purple, now that purple is raining. Get them. It was written, y'all ain't spitting nothing new. They was hating on Messiah, now they hating on us too. They be waiting on us too, trying to see what we gonna do. We got 100,000 views, y'all just mad cause y'all got 2. Do the work, jerk, busybody. Over here we united and y'all ain't hurting anybody. I don't even know why y'all keep trying on. Know why y'all keep coming to your wife to wash your garment. Y'all be teaching looking bumping. We the Israelites. Brother, we got work to do. How you find the time to hate another brother's work he do? That's what some old jerk would do. We don't play them hating games. Y'all just over mad cause y'all keep seeing all this purple rain. IUIC is growing. Every year getting bigger. Won't let our sisters be hoes. Won't let our brothers be niggas. We not the type of camp to sit around and talk about others. Y'all can hate your life away, but we got love for our brothers. Y'all brothers talking about colors. Are you serious, cuz? We the flipping sons of God, not the Crips and the Bloods. Y'all must be sipping the suds. I think y'all feeling the buzz. I could have swore I heard them hating, but that ain't what it was. It couldn't be. Maybe they just trying to get some fame. Maybe they just hoping we might justify their name. They call us Purple Rain cause we'll be raining over nations. Revelations 13:10. Brothers, please have patience.
Shalom, shalom. PhoenixKnightV2 here. And yeah, it's the truth about the wicked world and more. Well, because there is a lot of evilness in this world, and I'm going to expose what's going on. So which one should we start off with first? Deception lies. Should we start with the gaming community going insane, or people been lying about the industry, about the Michael Jackson movie, or should I suppose the world itself, and then we get to all of that? Because the truth's gonna come out. Yeah, the truth is just gonna come out. It doesn't matter what people say. People can keep on defending their favorite celebrities or the gaming, whatever. You can defend all you want to. But the truth is, there's always gonna be the P word in these damn gaming community, movie industry, all of that. But does people ever turn a blind eye what's going on? Of course they do. You wonder why they turn a blind eye to this mess? Because they call it's entertainment. Well, let's talk about entertainment. It's making you dumb. Ain't make you wiser, ain't make you smarter, just making you more dumb. And they pushing more and more agendas and more narratives. And people are still falling for the same nonsense. Wake up. They've been fooling y'all for how many years now since COVID? There's even a new virus that now came out. And you folks, I love Michael Jackson. I love Pokemon. I love Resident Evil. So you want to be distracted by nonsense? But the elites have still been doing the same mess, and you're still loving the foolishness. I'm proud to say is that I don't care if I be rude or disrespectful or you call me ignorant. You motherfuckers sure deserve you motherfuckers deserve to suffer just like you did in COVID. Cause shit, if you didn't learn your lesson the first time, right, then you deserve to suffer again. Because obviously retards will be retards on this planet who don't comprehend shit and still doing the same shit. So let's discuss about, well, that's because I'm going to expose about Spirit Airlines, Nintendo, and we're going to get on to it. I've been hearing lately that Nintendo has been getting what? Lawsuits. But of course, you so-called gamers don't pay none of that to that shit. Oh no. These companies getting lawsuits. Oh no, that's not important. It's not important what these companies get sued. It's not important because it's not affecting us. Because why should we care? You're pushing up a narrative agenda, but not giving a fuck, not caring. So let's get on to it. I don't even know who the hell this person is. I don't know who the hell this is, and I'm not paying attention to your comment. Because I don't even know who you are. So let's go and expose this. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. You see this? Does anybody see this? The Nintendo's getting sued. Do you not see this? Look at this. Mm-hmm. But hey, you stupid gamers ain't talk about this. Oh yeah, Nintendo's getting a lawsuit. Yeah, of course you ain't talk about that. Or Pokemon is losing how many people now because of Nintendo's nonsense? But of course you stupid Nintendo fans would defend anything, right? Y'all would defend Nintendo's actions. You'll defend the lies of the Michael Jackson movie. Y'all would defend anything, will you? Because you're dumb. So let's also expose, of course, why Janet Jackson was against the whole Michael Jackson movie. The Michael Jackson movie 2026. Let me go and expose that too. I think townspeople to wake up to smell the coffee, because obviously y'all not smelling that coffee very well. You're not smelling the truth. So let's explain why Janet Jackson and parents was against the whole Michael Jackson movie. Unfortunately, yes, I've been keeping up with a lot of things that I don't talk about because morons on this fucking site is against the whole, the Jackson estate. Well, of course, the delusional Michael Jackson fans don't pay attention to shit. And there's even videos about it. You delusional MJ fans are so fucking dumb. You see MJ doing the V sign, the satanic. But you so dumb. Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson that. Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson that. About the whole Michael Jackson movie thing. You stupid MJ fans are just as dumb and retarded like there's no fucking tomorrow. Dude, I don't give a care what you're talking about in the comment section. I do not care. I do not care. I don't care about this foolishness you're talking about. See? There's even been a YouTube video about it. If I have to show a YouTube video about this mess, what I'm exposing, we'll get to that and I'm going to get to the Spirit Airlines. But look at this. And guess who was involved about this whole Michael Jackson biopic movie? Who? Michael Jackson's older brother, Jermaine Jackson. Wow. Wow, Jermaine Jackson, you got to be a real piece of shit. You told your sister to get on the train, of course, of being hush-hush and take that money. And you delusional MJ fans are sitting there, I'm going to go see the Michael Jackson movie. Okay, at first you liked it, then you say it's trash. Okay. How dumb can you, Michael Jackson community, be this stupid? Like you don't see the writing on the wall. They're trying to make it sound like Michael Jackson's this angel in this movie. He is not an angel. He been through allegations and shit years ago. Does anybody not remember the Michael Jackson movie, The American Dream? Or did people forget that? I guess they did. So let me explain to you about this whole Michael Jackson movie. It's satanic. If you don't see the symbolism, you really are delusional as hell. And yes, I'm calling the MJ fan base out. I'm calling y'all out. Because you MJ fans really don't learn shit. You don't learn shit. You still do the same shit. Yes, Michael Jackson was a great artist. Yes. But also, if you don't know, his father sold them out years ago. For what? To sell their soul for money. But of course, you delusional MJ fan base are so stupid, you don't know that. Do I have to show evidence of that too? That Michael Jackson's dad sold them out to sell their soul? Do I really have to go there and show the evidence? Or are y'all down? Are you that damn delusional? The truth is plain sight. Michael Jackson even said in one of his songs that he sold his soul to the devil because of his father. If you don't fucking know that, if you fucking pay attention, if you play this song, one of his songs, reverse, you'll hear it. That he sold his soul to the devil. It's common sense. The music industry is demonic. Anybody with a brain can even notice that. So I don't want to hear from the MJ family, real Christians. No. A real person with Christ who fight against this mess would stand up for the Most High God. Not doing all this bullshit, acting like MJ, dressing like MJ, and all this foolishness. So I don't want to hear that. Y'all's hearts are not with the Most High God. Your hearts, it's with Esau. That's what your heart is. Y'all's heart, it's with Esau, not with the Most High God. And trust me, I pay attention to people's patterns very easily. Y'all care about some silly, stupid entertainment more than God in these last days. And don't think I don't notice things. I pay close attention. And that's exactly what you MJ fans do. Just like the Nintendo fan base, etc. Y'all repeat the same patterns time and time again. Oh, but we believe in God. No, I'm sorry. If you believe in God, right, you would have kept the 613 commandments. You do the fuck what he says to do. Yeah, you could enjoy life, but not sit there worshiping these motherfuckers. That's the fuck what you morons do. So no, your hearts are not with God. Your heart is with Esau in society. That's what your heart is. It's with Esau. That's what your heart is. Now let's go ahead and let me stop sharing for a minute. I'm going to show about Spirit Airlines. Because when they say Spirit Airlines, of course, right? I don't make shit up. I don't make shit up because shit is running in front of people's faces. Unfortunately, yes, there's YouTube videos about it. I would love to show a YouTube video about this whole Nintendo and Michael Jackson biopic. I will definitely show that. And this would just be evidence to show y'all, right? This is not a bunch of bullshit. This is not coincidence. Look at this. Spirit Airlines owed $5 billion. And guess what Donald Trump did? Nope. We're going to focus on this war. So F your company, F y'all. We're going to leave y'all hanging. Now, please tell me, is that not a coincidence that happened? And I'm bullshitting. Actually, I'm not bullshitting. No, because I'm telling the fucking truth. That's no coincidence. All right. I'm about to show the real nitty-gritty what's going on here. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Listen, I don't care. I do not care. What is the point is I don't care. Do you now understand? I don't care. All right, let's show this, and then I'm going to show a truther video that somebody else exposed it.
Michael Jackson's little sister, Janet, and his baby girl, they're close and they agree, apparently. They both hate the Michael biopic, not interested in what it's offering up, even though their own relative is getting rave reviews for playing the King of Pop in it. Tell you what it's about. Michael Jackson's new self-titled biopic enraged his sister Janet and his daughter Paris. Why are they so upset? Well, Janet reportedly got into a phone argument with her brother Jermaine after Michael was screened for the Jackson family in Los Angeles. Janet is said to have been very critical of the film after the screening, while Jermaine loudly applauded, TMZ reported. As for her being left out of the script, TMZ was told it would only have bit role anyway. What did Jackson say? If all of this is true, they got some unfinished business in the family. Though the film was backed by the Jackson family estate, Janet had no involvement and is not featured in the film. TMZ reporting that she was offered a role in production but declined to participate. Janet's always been insanely jealous of Michael, and her career is in the toilet. TMZ's anonymous source said, Jermaine, this is my opinion. I mean, come on. Who said that? But the man she's reportedly on the phone, they're shouting at each other. That's my opinion. It's an opinion. I have no independent information. While the recent claims of envy being the fuel behind her recent conflict with her family, her past actions prove otherwise. Last year, Janet made headlines because she was faced with offers to shoot her own biopic and tell the story of her life and career, but she reportedly turned down all of the offers. Her stance is that she wants her late brothers to enjoy the spotlight before her. The Blast reported that her decision stemmed from her desire to allow her family to focus solely on Michael and relive their favorite memories. Michael's own daughter, Paris, now 27, called the film script dishonest, filled with inaccuracies. She's no longer involved in the project. The thing about these biopics is it's Hollywood, it's Fantasyland, it's not real, but it's sold to you as real, Paris said on Instagram. The narrative is being controlled, and there's a lot of inaccuracy, and there's a lot of just full-blown lies. At the end of the day, that doesn't really fly with me. Star Coleman Domingo, who plays controversial Joe Jackson in the biopic, told people that Paris and her brother Prince Jackson were very much in support of our film. Paris responded to Domingo's comments via her Instagram story, calling the actor out directly for alluding that she had been very helpful during the production. Quote, I read one of the first drafts of the script and gave my notes about what was dishonest and didn't sit right with me. And when they didn't address it, I moved on with my life. Not my monkeys, not my circus. God bless, Godspeed. She's getting her hair done in this picture. Right? It's just my observation. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with this. Look, I think these historical pictures are difficult. I have no idea what it would be like to be Michael Jackson's sister or daughter, of course. But we all have our individual relationships and experiences. It's like when you have siblings who feel a certain way about their view of an event that happened growing up, their view of their parents that perhaps is different from yours. Is it for you to say that's not true, that didn't happen, not that way? Or are we each allowed to have our individual relationships with our close family members that may or may not jibe? What do you make of this? The Jacksons have had feuds before. It's Jermaine's kid, I believe, who is the lead, playing the king of pop, Elliot. But it's sad to me. And I can also see the Hollywood production angle that they do take creative license sometimes. But when that's your dad or that's your older brother, maybe you can't get down with that.
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site.
Okay, I'm going to show a truth video on this movie. Yeah, I am. It's on someone else's channel. And I want y'all to hear discussing truth. Just like the truth about anything else like this you are not aware of. I'm going to show the truth. Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling me that because I'm not surprised. So, for the person in the comment section, this right, if y'all want conspiracy stuff, I know a bunch of channels who knows conspiracy as much as I do, but check this out.
He isn't telling us the full truth. Fans were excited to see the full story of the King of Pop on the big screen. But what they got instead was a massive puff piece that completely rewrites history. The movie not only underplayed the reality of his childhood trauma, but it completely erased the most significant controversies of his life by cutting the story off in 1988. But why? Was it just to keep the movie positive, or were greedy labels rewriting history to protect a billion-dollar brand? Today, I'm showing you exactly how the Michael Jackson movie tried to rewrite history. We all know Michael Jackson is the biggest artist to ever live. We also know that he has had one of the most controversial careers, from a troubled childhood to massive controversies in his adult life. While he was the king of pop, he was also a troubled individual who gave his soul to the art. But this movie completely erased half his story. Instead of telling the full story, they created the perfect fairy tale that would forever immortalize Michael Jackson in a positive light. But don't get it twisted, they are not preserving his legacy for the sake of his reputation, but because they own his likeness and want to make sure it remains profitable. So what exactly does this movie show us? The film kicks off in Gary, Indiana, and walks us right into the rise of the Jackson 5. We get the early days of Michael performing and the studio hits, all the big musical milestones. The director packs the screen with studio sessions and exact concert recreations to keep the fans entertained. But when it comes to the dark side of his childhood, they kept things extremely safe. We see Joe Jackson being strict, but the movie frames his actions as just tough parenting to build discipline. The script then shifts to paint Michael as a pure musical genius dealing with the stress of fame. And then the most calculated part happens. Right after the Bad Tour in 1988, the movie ends. The studio wraps up the story right before the major legal battles and the real controversy even begin. They did this strategically. They knew they couldn't talk about the 90s without getting into the biggest controversies of his career. So they give us the music and the dancing, painting only the positive side behind his story. Let's take a look at what the movie chose to ignore about his childhood. The film depicts Joe Jackson as a man who was just obsessed with success. They give us a few scenes where he is being hard on his kids, but the movie frames it as a necessary evil to create stars. The script completely avoids the actual physical reality of what went on in that household. It replaces documented trauma with a soft version of discipline that feels more like a coaching style than actual abuse. They failed to illustrate that Joe sold his children's innocence for fame and riches. The producer made a very specific choice here. This version of his childhood acts as a foundation for the rest of the movie to stay positive and safe. They sanitize the early years so they can keep the character profitable for the general public. This is how narrative control works in a big budget biopic. They give you just enough to say they addressed it, but not enough to actually make you uncomfortable with the reality. They want you to sympathize with the family brand, instead of questioning the institutional environment that Michael was raised in. This is how they scrub the truth from their icons, how they reshape the story to fit the perfect marketable brand. They know Michael's story wasn't safe by any means, so they forced it to be safe. The media has been pushing the story that his family stepped in and purposely blocked the later years to protect his image. They absolutely played a role, but that is only a part of the truth. The major record labels and corporate backers were the true hand behind this movie. The entire movie was made as a rebrand. In today's world, artists are heavily affected by their biggest controversies. The label needed to rewrite his history into a positive story. You have to understand how incredibly influential Hollywood biopics actually are. Millions of people go to theaters and watch these movies and accept them as a definitive historical truth. They know this film will permanently shape the public perception of Michael Jackson for an entirely new generation. The underlying motivation here is purely financial. The corporate goal is simply to continue milking his name for every possible dollar well into the future. They are securing a long-term revenue stream by ensuring the Michael Jackson brand remains spotless and entirely commercial. But the absolute dark irony in this movie was Michael Jackson's relationship with the music industry during the last decade of his life. Michael Jackson actively fought his record label. He staged massive public boycotts against them. He held press conferences to expose their business practices and called out the executives by name. His ultimate leverage against the industry was his ownership of ATV Publishing Catalog, which held the rights to some of the most valuable music in history. The label desperately wanted total control of those publishing rights, but Michael completely refused to sell his ownership. He held his ground against the corporate machine and fought them tooth and nail until the day he died.
Seedance 2.0 is now on Artlist, and you can get precisely what you want.
I'll take a robbery.
Then look at what happened after he passed away. His family and the estate immediately turned around and sold those exact catalog rights back to the industry for billions of dollars. The very institutions that he went to war with were handed total control over his legacy and this movie. This is why they didn't tell the full story. They purposely skipped the biggest years of his career just to avoid putting the story on screen. This is how they shape the narrative. If they can control the story, they can rewrite themselves out of it. Michael would have never approved of this movie. He went completely against what the label stood for. He didn't want to be completely exploited by them. And this is exactly what they're doing with this movie. The record label was without a doubt his biggest enemy while he was alive. Today, those same corporate entities are the ones funding and writing his official story. They took a man who actively rebelled against their control and packaged his life into a safe, easily digestible commercial product. They scrubbed the controversies and completely erased his war against the industry. You cannot sell a billion-dollar family-friendly brand if your main character is facing those kind of charges. What most people don't know is that the original drafts of the script actually included the events of the 90s. The studio was actually forced into massive reshoots that cost tens of millions of dollars just to scrub those scenes away. They had to remove that entire era because of strict confidential settlements that legally limit how the estate can portray those specific events. The estate used their legal and financial power to make sure those scenes were never shown. They also heavily restricted anyone involved in the production from speaking out. They kept the set locked down so the real story could never surface. They also brought in a production team who were entirely willing to play ball with the estate. This production was completely controlled by a corporate boardroom executing a calculated PR strategy. They are betting that the general public would just consume the music and accept this manufactured reality without asking any questions. Sony actually licensed every single song you hear in the film, and they're controlling the official soundtrack. They have 500 million reasons to make sure this movie functions as a flawless commercial for his music. The sudden movie ending was a forced corporate fix. To protect their billion-dollar brand, the estate paid $15 million out of pocket to fund massive reshoots. They completely scrubbed the third act of the movie. They literally bought their way out of telling the truth. When you put all of the pieces together, the reality of this movie becomes completely obvious. The Michael Jackson biopic is a calculated corporate rebrand designed to protect a massive financial investment. The studio softened this traumatic childhood to make the narrative digestible for the general public. They spent $15 million in reshoots to legally scrub his biggest controversies right off the screen. Sony Music and the estate are working together to make sure the brand remains family-friendly and highly profitable. The ultimate tragedy here is that Michael Jackson spent the last years of his life fighting against this exact kind of industry control. He warned the public about the labels and refused to hand over his power to the executives. Now those same corporate entities own his history. They are the ones writing his legacy. They turned his life into a massive commercial to secure their billion-dollar catalog. They gave the world the perfect fairy tale so they can keep the cash flowing. I want to know what you think. Did you watch this movie? And if so, did you like it? I saw it has an insanely high popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes, but the official critic score is quite low. Do you agree with me that this is shady music industry tactics? Or do you think there's nothing wrong with them erasing his biggest controversy?
Oh, I see exactly what's wrong with what it is. They try to make sure that it's all family friendly to be in control. I see what's going on. And I'm not a fool. Trust me, I know exactly what's going on. They're pushing an agenda. They're pushing a narrative. That's what they're doing. To be honest, I don't care if somebody says the N-word, but who okay, now for people who are attacking this person, get a life. Get a life. This is not about you. Get a life. Straight up, get a life. But yeah. Yeah, I'm going to also I want to expose what Beyonce was doing because I virtually don't show that. But I'm going to expose Beyonce a little bit too. So hold on for 1 minute. We're gonna expose this, then we're gonna expose Nintendo. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a field day with Nintendo. I'm gonna expose Nintendo, absolutely.
The Met Gala isn't even trying to hide it anymore. People can't stop talking about the insane outfit choices from the biggest celebrities in the world. Beyonce showed up dressed as a skeleton queen, Katy Perry wore a creepy mirrored mask, and Bad Bunny arrived as an 80-year-old man. But why? The Met stated the theme was simply fashion as art. But everyone knows they chose these specific gothic outfits for a deeper hidden purpose. What I found confirms these outfits trace back to a much darker inspiration. By the end of this video, you will never look at the Met Gala the same way again. Everyone knows the Met Gala is a peculiar event that only the elite understand. This year's outfit choices reflect that clearly. Celebrities are leaning into some weird trends, and these outfits serve a singular purpose: to separate the elite from everyday society. No matter what anyone tells you, dressing up as a skeleton is not fashion. These outfits hold deep esoteric meaning that most people would never truly grasp. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why they dress like this and what it truly all means. Let's start with Queen Bee. Beyonce is one of the biggest celebrities in the world. When she showed up to the Met for the first time in years, the entire conversation immediately focused on the strange outfit she chose for the event. Beyonce arrived in a sheer dress with a diamond-encrusted skeleton motif and a matching crystal-embellished headpiece. She was accompanied by Blue Ivy and Jay-Z. According to the Met, Beyonce's look drew inspiration from The Visitor, a 1944 painting by artist Caroline Durex depicting a skeleton standing at a door. To understand the hidden meaning behind this design, we must examine the deeper esoteric language behind the art that inspired it. Caroline operated during a time when artists actively studied Hermetic occult philosophy to unlock hidden realities. Her artwork consistently explored the veil separating the physical realm from the spiritual plane. The Visitor specifically depicts a skeleton standing at a doorway. In many hidden belief systems, a doorway acts as a literal portal to the spiritual world. The door itself in the painting represents the gateway to the other side. A skeleton figure waiting at the door indicates the final transition between the living world and the afterlife. This imagery is deeply rooted in the ancient practice of memento mori. Followers of ancient mysticism actively reflect on the inevitability of death as a core part of their belief system. They use skulls and skeletal representations as focal points for esoteric ceremonies. It connects to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Focusing on human bones reminds the practitioner that the material world is temporary while the spiritual realm is permanent. By wearing this crystal skeleton, Beyonce was actively channeling these exact esoteric traditions. She positioned herself as the skeleton queen who operates between both realms. Her outfit was a deliberate visual representation of crossing the spiritual veil. It also represents the act of spiritual channeling, where an artist opens themselves up to the other side to draw inspiration from the spiritual forces. This is a concept Beyonce frequently depicts in her performances. She was signaling an awareness of this hidden symbolism and invoking the arcane practices of ancestral communication. The materials used in the dress add another profound layer of meaning. The crystals covering the bones symbolize the secret science of spiritual alchemy. Alchemy focuses on transforming the decaying physical body into an enlightened and eternal state. Beyonce used this gown to visually represent herself as a transcendent being capable of operating within both realms of reality. Even Jay-Z and Blue Ivy's outfits connected to this. Jay-Z wore a black suit and Blue Ivy wore a white dress. This is a direct representation of spiritual duality. In these esoteric traditions, practitioners believe that combining internal opposites produces a divine being. The black and white checkerboard pattern is meant to represent this concept. Black indicates masculinity and white femininity. Beyonce is embodying the merger of these opposites, explaining her silver attire. When you mix black and white, you get gray. Silver is just a metallic elevation of gray. Their coordinated outfit choices depicted Beyonce as a deity who has transcended life and death and operates in a higher realm. But Katy Perry's outfit took these esoteric teachings to a whole new level. She arrived wearing a flowing white custom gown paired with a creepy, ominous mirrored mask. The Met explained her look was a performance art piece about identity and perception. To understand the true inspiration, we must examine the deeper esoteric meaning of this ancient symbol. The most revealing moment happened during her walk up the museum steps. She pulled a specific tarot card from her dress and showed it to the cameras. The card she revealed was the Magician. The Magician is one of the most powerful symbols in esoteric traditions. It represents the manipulation of reality and the hermetic belief of as above, so below. This card connects directly to the esoteric process of man becoming God. In these ancient traditions, this symbol represents mastering duality. Esoteric practitioners interpret the phrase as above, so below to mean as in heaven, so on earth. They believe this concept allows them to manifest their paradise on earth using the power of their will. In these teachings, reality is created from within. It indicates they see themselves as their own savior. By holding this card up for the world to see, she was signaling a deep awareness of these hidden belief systems. She was visually declaring that she shapes the material world using hidden knowledge. We must also look at the six-fingered white glove she had on. The media called this a playful nod to artificial intelligence struggling to generate human hands. The truth gets much deeper. Within ancient esoteric texts, a sixth finger operates as a direct reference to the Nephilim and altered human bloodlines. This traces back to how the Bible describes the Nephilim bloodline, depicting descendants of giants who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. In esoteric traditions, the Nephilim are considered hybrids. The extra digit is often viewed as a physical anomaly or a mark of their mixed, non-human DNA. Presenting this physical trait was meant to signify an elevated status far above the average person. The most important piece of the entire outfit remains the mirrored mask. The designer stated that the mask invites observers to consider how their perception mirrors their internal world. This ties directly back to the Magician Tarot card. Practitioners of this esoteric system believe that reality is a reflection of the self, and that you can create your reality when you master duality. Mirrors function as a literal looking glass used to communicate with the other side. Practitioners use them as a tool for scrying, a method used to peer through the veil into the spiritual realm. This connects directly back to the theme we just established with Beyonce. Both women utilize their red carpet looks to represent a literal threshold between the living world and the unknown. They are showing us the process of how they created their reality using these esoteric concepts. Katy Perry and Beyonce's outfits depict the exact same hermetic principle of mastering the cycle of life. Bad Bunny's outfit follows this exact same pattern. Bad Bunny showed up to the Met this year 50 years in the future. He underwent a massive transformation, arriving on the red carpet entirely unrecognizable as an 85-year-old version of himself. He wore a custom black suit and utilized hyper-realistic facial prosthetics, silver hair, and a walking cane to complete the look. The official narrative from the Met states that this look was a direct response to a section of their exhibit focused on the aging body. The institution claimed the fashion industry traditionally ignores the aged body out of fear of facing mortality. To find the true hidden meaning behind this transformation, we must connect it back to the exact esoteric themes established by Beyonce and Katy Perry. Intentionally aging the physical body is a profound symbolic act within ancient mysticism. Bad Bunny was visual.
Okay. I think people got to understand that. Let's get to Nintendo. Okay, hold on. Let me show what she said. Yep. Oh yeah, Wise, I'm not surprised on that. All right, let me go ahead and get to Nintendo. Hang on. Oh yeah, of course. And doesn't surprise me that somebody said they play copyrighted music. No. All right, I'm going to show y'all this.
Two brave gamers have filed a class action lawsuit against Nintendo, seeking to recover money the company generated as a result of tariff-motivated price increases. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to hope we all get a piece of that action.
Well, we're all in that class. We purchased a Switch during the price increase, and boy, would it be a cool moment if we actually got some money out of these companies that charged us for the tariffs that they were charged, and would probably open the door for just loads more lawsuits if this actually went to trial, which is probably why, among a few other reasons, it may not pan out eventually, but we can hope. Hoping ain't a crime. Not yet, anyway.
That's true. The lawsuit reported by Steve Totillo at GameFile claims that, quote, Nintendo stands to recover the same tariff payments twice, once from consumers through higher prices, and again from the federal government through the tariff refunds that are happening right now, including interest paid by the government on those funds.
Yeah, this whole ridiculous situation we're in exists due to a decision from the United States Supreme Court in February that ruled that President Trump's unilateral imposition of tariffs was illegal and had to be retroactively removed.
And Donald Trump had been doing it for about a year at that point. So he'd been doing illegal tariffs for a year, and they had finally ruled against him. So once all this happened, Nintendo joined several other companies in suing the U.S. government to recoup all the illegal tariff money that they were charged.
Yes, the courts kind of paused, benched a lot of those cases once the U.S. government announced their intention to launch a tariff refund website, process those payments on a widespread basis. And that's been going on for the last month or so.
Those refunds are reported to begin this week, though importers reportedly expect the process to be complicated and painful because, of course, they're going to be. The government is never going to let go of the money they already have.
Especially this government. Yes, they're probably going to launder it through crypto or some offshore's account and funnel it to all of their crony buddies in Washington. We won't get into that too much, but there's just one problem in addition to the multitude of other problems we're choosing to ignore right now. Naturally, none of these plans include returning any money to customers that subsidize those price increases. Hence the claims made by this lawsuit against Nintendo.
It's weird, Lawrence. We were left out of all of this.
Isn't that weird?
Everyone keeps asking me how I do my podcast alone. The answer, Riverside. I get high.
The lawsuit comes from Gregory Hoffert and Prashant Sharan, who both say they purchased Nintendo goods that were explicitly marked up due to illegal tariffs, which they claim violates Washington state consumer protection law.
And I don't think Washington state consumer protection law ever thought something like this would happen.
Yeah.
I think we're in a lot of those unprecedented situations when it comes to U.S. law and U.S. government right now. But accordingly, the lawsuit attempts to explicitly link Nintendo's price increases to the tariffs, such as a statement from Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa to investors in May 2025, where he said that, quote, for any country or region, if tariffs are imposed, we recognize them as part of the cost and incorporate them into the price. It's pretty straightforward. At least that quote by itself does.
I mean, that's what businesses exactly did. When tariffs were put into effect, they raised their prices to account for the tariffs. Unfortunately, while you and I can plainly see this situation exploits us, the customers, the law may not agree.
Yeah, it's got to be on the books. Stephen Totillo at GameFile reached out to former Pokemon Company Chief Legal Officer Don McGowan, who did not have high hopes for this lawsuit resulting in any kind of favorable outcome. He said, quote, I have exceptional difficulty seeing how this is a valid lawsuit. There's nothing distinct between raising prices because of tariffs and raising prices because you just want to make more money. There's no legal obligation to keep your margins low. Nintendo didn't receive tariff funds as a fiduciary or with any kind of legal obligation to return them to the consumer. Woof. But McGowan did say that he empathized with the lawsuit here and hoped that something could happen. But as far as the law is concerned, doesn't explicitly cover this situation, according to McGowan.
I have a lot of thoughts on this. We'll get into that at the end of the episode.
Oh, I'm excited to hear them.
This is a very interesting supply and demand, if you want to talk about it. So we may have to depend on Nintendo's generosity to see any kind of recompense here, which, despite due cynicism, is really not entirely unprecedented.
Not entirely, but yes, Nintendo doesn't have the best reputation for being, I guess, magnanimous. Yes, I always throw back to this because it was a cool move, but it was a very Satoru Iwata move. Nintendo cut the price of their 3DS system from $250 to $170 in the US shortly after launch due to low sales back in 2011.
Yeah, that's right. And then anyone that bought the 3DS before the price cut at the higher price could download 10 free NES games and a doofy little ambassador program certificate.
Yeah, I kept that on my home screen just because it was the silliest thing. More recently, they also sold an explicitly region-locked Switch 2 for the Japanese region at a lower price. They said that was to combat reselling. I think between the lines, it was probably also to retain customer loyalty in a very important market to them. So occasionally, they will explicitly cut their consumers a price break to try to either reward them for their loyalty or just, maintain competition. Who knows if they're going to do that now? They're probably going to wait until they get the money to make any decision or obligation about what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, Lawrence, you're kind of getting at it. So the tariff refunds could result in Nintendo being magnanimous in like a Switch 2 price cut. There's some freebies that everybody gets if they paid the $450 price tag here in the US. Maybe, but that's like a year away.
And I doubt whatever you get will make up for whatever differential in price it ended up being. Kind of like I alluded to, though, this will be an interesting test for the relatively new Nintendo president, Shuntaro Furukawa, who took the reins of the company in June 2018. His double predecessor, there was an interim president between Iwata and Furukawa, but Iwata was pretty well known for these sorts of gestures. He cut his own salary when Nintendo profits didn't hit. So he was very much a principled executive that tried to actually put those into action. I think Furukawa is a little more numbers focused, but we have yet to see a real presidency defining move from Furukawa.
Yeah. So on the macroeconomic level, some companies have already promised customer refunds of tariff related expenses. FedEx, for example, states on their website that, quote, if refunds are issued to FedEx, tariff refunds, we will issue refunds for IEEPA tariffs paid to the shippers and consumers who originally bore those charges.
That's nice to say well ahead of time. But despite that, FedEx is one of the many companies that have also been targeted by class action lawsuits in an attempt to recover this money. So even though they said they would do it, they still got sued because this is America and anyone could sue anything for any reason. So I think it's good because this is ostensibly how justice happens in this country. So good for everyone for flinging themselves onto the courts and trying to get money out of the U.S. government. But this is just, everyone said it a million different ways. I'm going to say it too. This is just a clown situation. Just clown governance. Depending on how conspiratorial you want to get, I don't think it requires a whole lot of conspiratorial thinking to see that this is pretty obvious market manipulation and just open corruption. It was driving money around. It was manipulating markets, and it was just a total total disdain for the situation that the customer is in, which stings a little extra hard given that Trump ostensibly ran on affordability and then did the exact opposite and made it worse a billion times over just to enrich him and his pals. So it's dumb to be here. It personally stings me a little extra hard that at this particular time in gaming, when there's this divergence of demographic inside of games, that this would happen to artificially drive up the price of games hardware at a time when games hardware should be coming down. So it's not that complicated of a scenario. We see exactly what happened, and now hopefully we have to rely on the generosity of megacorps to treat us right. Which
also, Let me show the prices up. Nintendo raised their prices up for the Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, let's show that. Nintendo Switch 2. I think this is really going to shock anybody, actually. Oh, boy, boy, boy. Oh, boy. I think this is probably going to shock anybody. What Nintendo's doing. Take a look. You see this? The Nintendo Switch prices has increased in $50 of USA, rising up to $449 to $44.99, effective September 1st, 2026. Are y'all Nintendo fans happy? Yes. Yes, I heard and know they remake Star Fox 1 or Star Fox 64. That's a great move, Nintendo, but you're Nintendo. You're screwing up. Like, I thought Sony was screwing up. I thought Microsoft was screwing up, but y'all even screwing up. See, like, it looks like it's an ending pattern of greed. Pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I really don't post gaming on my channel that much, but guess what? The truth is going to come out. All right. We're going to get on to something more serious. Yes, yeah. Because, yeah, gaming's not that serious. But I'm going to show the whole Spirit Airlines for a bit. And then we're going to get on to the real serious stuff in the world. Yeah, I want to expose some stuff that was actually going on that I think people needed to see. Now we're going to expose some real shit that's going on. And I mean actual real shit. No, it's not involved with gaming or none of this shit. Not involved with no movies or whatever. No. We're going to expose gas prices. Gas prices, yes. Gas prices. We're going to expose the gas price. We're going to expose that instead. Then we're going to do the Spirit Airlines. So, is people happy with the gas prices went up? I'm probably saying no, but I'm not going to go further and deep into the truth on that. But I think it's time for people to hear this. So hold on. I think it does showing this. We're going to show Spirit Airlines as well. Yeah. Okay, folks. Listen closely.
Hickson, who is in Woodbridge, Virginia. Henrietta Trays is co-founder and director of economic policy at Beta Partners. Sam Stein is back with us. Henrietta, the average credit card debt in the U.S. is at an historic high. According to the most recent data from the Fed, at the end of 2025, it was $1.28 trillion. If you stacked that amount in dollar bills, it would reach over 80,000 miles into space, more than a third of the way to the moon. So when Kevin Hassett suggests that credit card spending is a sign of a strong economy, is that a thing?
That is not a thing. I think that, like every American, you rely on a credit card when you run out of savings. So the corollary here is that savings rates are actually at 3-year lows. And that's because voters and consumers have effectively run out of money. And what's really telling is that for the first time since the war started, we're just now starting to get earnings reports from major restaurants around the country. And they're showing in real time that by the end of the month, when people haven't been paid in 25, 26 days, they run out of money and they stay home, and restaurant sales fall off a cliff. And that's when somebody would rely on a credit card instead of using the cash in their bank. And that's why savings rates are so low right now.
So, Sam, what is this disconnect between the White House and the American people over the economy? Because so much of what they try to claim is disproved by common sense.
I don't think it's a disconnect. I think they're just trying to put a shine on something that doesn't deserve it. With gas prices up, with consumer sentiment historically down, with credit card debt high, there's not much to work with. I mean, there's a few things here or there, better than expected job numbers sporadically, but not really. If you look at the jobs data, much of the hiring is in the healthcare sector. If you look at the stock market, which they do tout regularly, a lot of that's due to the big seven tech companies. So they're just trying to find things to sell to the American public to say that the president's prescription is working, when in reality, the data is very clear that we are not in a great place economically. And frankly, it could get worse. I mean, we're talking about gas prices at high levels right now. We're not even in the peak travel season. Memorial Day is coming up, summer travel is coming up, and the inflation that is transitory hasn't gone fully through yet. So all the stuff that is related to fuel costs, we're going to end up seeing spike in costs for those goods as well. So it's just going to be a really rough slog for the administration. That's why you have people like Kevin Hassett saying, look, we're spending so much money on our credit cards.
Yeah, and Ariel, today, AAA's national average for gas hit another new national high, $4.56. I know you've been talking to Americans all morning who are making some tough choices. What are you hearing?
Well, commuters are telling me that they are really trying to find more and more creative ways to get to work. They're increasingly relying on carpooling, ride-sharing apps, as well as public transportation. The app Scoop tells me they've seen a 40% increase in demand over the past few months. And here in D.C., many commuters are relying on slugging. Now, that might be a phrase you've never heard of before. It's common in the D.C. area. It basically works out like this. A driver will come to a lot like the one that I'm standing on and pick up some commuters, and they'll all head into the same destination together in DC so that they can offset some of those costs. And some of the commuters I've spoken to earlier today tell me that those slugging lines are getting longer and longer as those gas prices are going up. Take a listen.
This is a lot more convenient since I can just drive to this lot. It's about 15 from my house, and then I can just go straight to DC. To fill a tank, it's like $75. Crazy. Can't do it. So for me, I just do this route. It makes a lot more sense for me.
Do you think that you're going to really focus on carpooling for the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I'm preparing, I'm just getting my money up. That's all you can really do in this life. Get your money up.
Saving money every way that they can. And I think it's important to note that although there are hopes that those gas prices are going to come down, many of these commuters can't really prepare for that in the future. So they are just trying to find more and more cost-effective ways to get to work on time, especially as there is that push for federal workers to show up in the office, and gas prices are once again very high, Chris.
Yeah, so Sam, MS Now's Capitol Hill producer Jack Fitzpatrick chased down Republican lawmakers who just a few years ago were quick to say that gas prices were horrible under President Biden, but then contrasted that to now, when, by the way, prices are much higher. Here it is.
What should Congress do about gas prices at $4.11 national average?
Well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, I don't like to brag about all the expensive places I've been, but earlier today I went to the gas station. Gasoline and diesel fuel and oil is a product of the conflict in Iran.
How do you square that patience with impatience with gas prices under Biden when it at times is $3.30, $3.40?
I don't have to square anything with you, okay?
Politicians should not get a free pass on the ridiculously high energy prices under the Biden administration.
Do you think that the war should stop because of this? How patient can you be?
Energy prices.
Just because gas prices have come down a little bit, they're still really high.
$4.30 gas prices. Do you think the war in Iran has gone on long enough?
Nothing to say about that. Just let me get your reaction to that, because I'm trying to figure out this sort of whole idea that I get they don't want to say anything bad about Donald Trump, but their constituents, Sam, know what's going on.
I mean, what more is there to add to that clip? It says everything, right? They obviously don't want to talk about it. And even if they were to talk about it, there's really not many good answers here. I mean, the most you can come up with that I've seen is something like, well, it's short term. Maybe dial back on a Starbucks every now and then. I think someone said that. Or it's worth the price of a non-nuclear Iran. And Maybe that is acceptable talking point for a couple weeks, but we're in week 10 of this war. And as everyone knows, gas prices go up very fast. They come down very slow. And experts predict that it could be a year before we're back to the sort of capacity that we had when the Strait of Hormuz was completely open. So there's not many good answers here. And that's why you see people being evasive or confrontational or oddly defensive, like Senator Kennedy was in that clip.
Okay, let me get off of that. Okay, we're going to go to Spirit Airlines. Hold on. Yep, Spirit Airlines. Give me 1 second. We're going to go to yeah, because the whole gas thing is very important, but I'm quite sure people heard about this as well.
Now out of business. Thousands of travelers spent the weekend stranded when the airlines pulled the plug at 3 in the morning on Saturday. More than 17,000 employees find themselves out of work. In court filings today, Spirit said, quote, recent geopolitical events resulted in a massive and sustained increase in fuel prices. That is an obvious reference to the war in Iran. Since the start of the war, Brent crude has spiked 55% from $72 in late February to its peak at $126 per barrel. Gas prices are up nearly 50% to $4.44 per gallon on average. And as with most things, the blame for Spirit has turned political. Democrats blaming President Trump's war with Iran. Members of Trump's cabinet are blaming the Biden administration for the airline's demise. We begin our coverage with senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve at Newark Liberty International Airport. Chris, it's great to see you. I know you've been covering this now for quite a while. Can you walk us through how travelers are navigating Spirit's closure?
Well, basically, if you were a Spirit flyer with a reservation to travel, you are in the process of getting a refund. Spirit says the majority of those to credit card and debit holders have already been processed and should be going back to their cards. If you were mid-trip, well, you were stuck, basically, because Spirit planes like the one behind us here, they're not going anywhere. They are parked for the foreseeable future. So those people, and it's about 94,000 so far, have basically rebooked on other airlines to get home. We're learning from the Department of Transportation, tens of thousands left sort of in the lurch that had to take advantage of other airlines offering what they called rescue fares to get people home.
And Chris, there was an attempt over the weekend that ultimately failed for the federal government to try to bail out Spirit. Can you remind us what happened and how things unfolded so quickly into its demise?
Sure. So we learned in these new court filings that the Spirit Airlines team learned that this attempted lifeline was off the table last Thursday, which is earlier than first thought. But the federal government, at President Trump's recommendation, had looked at a $500 million aid package to essentially give Spirit some more financial runway. Ultimately, that deal didn't come together. And without that deal, Spirit ran out of available cash. You know, they also said in these court filings that between March 1st and the end of April, they spent an extra $100 million just on jet fuel. For a cash-strapped airline trying to get out of bankruptcy, that was more than they could afford.
And Chris, it's obviously not just customers impacted. We're talking about thousands of Spirit employees. What happens to them next?
Well, they are out of a job. It's thousands of direct Spirit employees and then thousands more contractors and people who had jobs supplying or working around Spirit Airlines that now have to find other work. And we've talked to one flight attendant who said he teaches dance classes on the side. He's going to try to do more of that. We talked to another who said she just hopes to get another flight attendant job. Other airlines have said they're going to give priority to Spirit employees, pilots, and flight attendants, people that are already trained to do those jobs. Will get special consideration. We're hearing some airlines are going to do hiring events in cities that were crew bases for Spirit. But right now, they're trying to figure out what's next. They'll obviously be able to get unemployment. Spirit will process a final payroll. But, as one of them told us, he's not sure what's going to happen, how he's going to pay bills when the check stops coming as soon as this next pay period.
And our thoughts are with all of those employees. Thank you so much, Chris Van Cleve.
Okay. Now we're going to the new virus. Has anybody heard about the new virus? I'm quite sure everybody's heard about the new virus. Yeah, I'm quite sure everybody's heard about the new virus, so I might as well show that too. I'm quite sure everybody heard about the new virus. Yeah, the new virus. The new virus that came out. Might as well show that too. Might as well show the new virus too. Might as well show that as well. So we're gonna show that too. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. Okay, does anybody know about the give me the link? I will send a link about this virus. Hold on.
Of battling the COVID pandemic, why is this less of a threat?
Well, for several reasons, but I'm really glad that they're starting to molecularly test the patients. This is really important. It's only through seeing the virus through actual testing rather than waiting for symptoms that you can really understand what's going on. We know that people on the ship are at risk, and I remind people, both the crew and the passengers, and we owe them also testing. But we know that the U.S. and others around the world have done a great job with containment. It is less easy to infect others, we believe, based on the data we've had to date with hantaviruses. And so there's not a threat to the general American public, but there is a threat to the people who got off the ship, to the people who are still on the ship, and to the people and to the crew.
This morning, we learned that a French woman who was a passenger on the ship has become the 7th confirmed case. Do you think we'll see more positive test results pop up in the coming days or weeks?
Well, as you know, the test positives are 5 to 15 days before you develop symptoms. And so that's why we should be doing molecular tests. We shouldn't be waiting for symptoms. We learned that in COVID, during the Trump administration, we were doing 2.5 million tests a day, molecular tests. We really know how to do this, and the ship should take on one of those testing machines. They're much smaller. They can test everybody on the ship. They can test everybody who got off the ship so that people can be reassured. If you're test negative, you don't have hantavirus. If you're test positive, you do have hantavirus and should be able to take the right supportive care.
Is this hantavirus behaving as the experts would predict?
Very good question, Wolf. So there's actually 2 different main strains of hantaviruses. The one in North and South America really causes more pulmonary symptoms, and the ones in Asia causes more renal symptoms. The one in Asia, the South Koreans do have an effective vaccine. They use it in their South Korean military, where they have much more exposure to mice and rodents. And so there is a way to, in the long term, develop both probably treatment as well as a vaccine. But this particular hantavirus strain is very similar to the hantavirus strain that we have in the United States, except that we've been able to show human-to-human transmission with this Andes strain.
Do you have any concerns, Dr. Birx, that this virus could mutate and become more easily transmitted from person to person?
That's always a concern with an RNA virus. In other words, these viruses' sole goal in life is to become more adapted to more hosts because they can't live at all without a host. In the most cases, it's the deer rat and the deer mice in the United States, and that's why it's so severe in the Four Corners area. And that's why it's really important to test people and to molecularly test people so that you can really follow this virus over time. We really do need to stop following viruses by symptoms and follow viruses by tests.
Have you been satisfied with the response that you've seen both by the World Health Organization and the U.S. evacuation that has placed the 17 Americans in quarantine in Nebraska right now?
It was totally the right thing to do from this administration's standpoint, because we needed to test these patients. What I'm disappointed by is as soon as the first case appeared and we had that death, there should have been testing brought on board. We learned that from the Diamond Princess in 2020. You need to bring tests on board to really test the crew and passengers so you can reassure them these are the individuals who are test positive and these are the individuals that are testing negative. And then you'll learn a lot more about transmission. You'll shorten that incubation period, which I'm sure it's too long, but it's based on subjective analysis of symptoms. And so we really need, as a global coalition, to support these passenger ships and really support the crew and the passengers with 21st century testing.
The risk to the general public remains very low, and that's because we're not dealing with a new virus here. We've known about hantavirus for decades. Generally, the strain in the US is not spread person to person. The strain, the Andes virus, the Andes strain that is implicated.
So going by this virus that we're hearing about, it's very similar. Well, it's not very similar to COVID, but everybody remember the whole COVID thing. Y'all remember the whole COVID thing since 2021? We can go visit that real quick. Let's go revisit COVID, shall we? Everybody remember COVID, right? We all remember COVID. Y'all remember the whole COVID pandemic thing? You remember that 2021? Does anybody remember that? Or is it just me? Yeah, we're going to go by the whole COVID thing. We're going to go over there now. COVID in 2021. I know everybody remember COVID. COVID was like the worst nightmare that we dealt with years ago. Talk about the worst of the worst years ago. The COVID. 5 years ago, yeah. The whole COVID thing. We all remember the COVID thing years ago. Oh, send me a... Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me go send the link. Hold on. Let me send the link before I show the whole COVID thing real quick. And I'm just going to call it an end on this. Because I think I showed enough already what's going on in this world already. I think I showed enough. But, yeah. Give me a second. Whew. Give me 1 minute. All right, I'm going to show the whole pandemic thing because I know it's been years since the whole pandemic thing. So I'm going to go expose that real quick. You got the Spirit Airlines. Let's get off of that. Let's go back to the whole COVID thing. Let's go to that. Let's go to the COVID thing. Because everybody remember 2021. That was the worst. 2021 was the worst. And everybody remembers 2021. I remember 2021 of that whole COVID thing. StreamYard link. I'm not going to invite anybody into the StreamYard link. I'm not going to do all that. Not for this stream. Not this stream. I'm not going to invite anybody in. I prefer to do this one solo. Now, the next time I do a stream, then I'll invite people in.
On this Wednesday night, the consequences of a COVID explosion.
We are approaching a breaking point in terms of our healthcare capacity.
Provinces on the brink consider drastic measures to prevent their healthcare systems from collapsing as the World Junior Championships are canceled. Omicron surging in the U.S. The new concerns about New Year's Eve celebrations becoming super spreader events. A stretch of unforgiving cold in the West goes from frigid,
it is dangerous,
to frightening.
A flat tire can turn into a life-altering situation.
And the race to help a Toronto toddler with a very rare disease.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Another day and more unprecedented numbers in our pandemic. Once again, Quebec has set a new COVID-19 record. The province is reporting 13,149 new confirmed cases today. That's the highest daily case count recorded by any province or territory at any time during the pandemic. Ontario also set a record today with more than 10,000 new infections. The province is also seeing a jump in hospitalizations and ICU admissions. At least 5 other provinces and territories have set new single-day highs, and those are just confirmed cases. The true number of infections in this country right now is believed to be much higher. Many public health agencies are struggling to keep up with testing demands. And as Abigail Beeman explains, the onslaught of Omicron is forcing many provinces and territories to reconsider their pandemic protocols.
At this stage in the pandemic, for me, it's inexcusable.
Inexcusable to close schools, says this ICU doctor.
Man, do I remember that. Oh, okay. I gotcha. I'll keep that in mind. I wouldn't exactly say I don't do research. I do. I don't even trust AI. But yeah, I'm going to end it from here. The next stream I do on my channel, being like in June or July, will be, and I'll have my research by then. Video games, WNO, the government, and WW3. They'll be the only streams on this channel that I expose what really goes on. I'll have my research by then. So I just wanted to show evidence what's really been going on. So yeah. I will see y'all next time. Y'all stay safe. And yeah, I mean, this is not my original exposing thing. I just wanted to show what's really been going on. That's it, nothing more. But I'll get back to the conspiracies like I've been doing. My only advice to people, of course, is follow the Most High God. Don't listen to society in this world. That's all I'm going to say. I'm saying shalom later. Y'all stay safe, take it easy, and later. And I'm not worried about getting a whole bunch of likes or being exposed to what's going on. I'm exposed to what's really going on because it needs to be exposed, nothing more. But later.